Hi everybody, I've been feeling led to come back on here and do more videos for Jesus. And this one is going to be called Miracles of Satan to Deceive. So we have a lot of big ministries. We got TBN and big ministries on the internet. People that are very popular and exalt themselves and are well known and boasted up and are pretty legit, and people follow these people in their ministry. So people on the stage are in wheelchairs and they get prayed for and then they get up and walk. Now, they're not preaching the true gospel of Jesus. They don't know Jesus. They're not hearing from Jesus. They're not getting revelations from Jesus. They're preaching a false gospel. People are lame and then they walk out of their wheelchairs. But the people who praise of them is not preaching the true gospel. So how can this be? People are deaf and then they hear. People's feet are crooked and then they're made straight. People have a broken arm and then they're healed. Well, let's see what Jesus says in Matthew 23 and Matthew chapter 24, and what Paul said in 2 Corinthians, and I would also like to read some out of 1 John. Well, starting in Matthew 23 at verse 8 through 10, Jesus said, "But you do not be called Rabbi, for one is a teacher, the Christ, and you are all brethren. Do not call anyone on earth your father, for one is your Father, he who is in heaven. And do not be called teachers, for one is your teacher, the Christ." And then now going down through chapter 23 to verse 15 and verse 28. "Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you travel land and sea to win one proselyte, and when he is won, you make him twice as much a son of hell as yourselves." And now verse 28. "Even so you also outwardly appear righteous to men, but inside you are full of hypocrisy and lawlessness." And then now going over to chapter 24 in the book of Matthew 24 verse 4. "And Jesus answered them and said to them, Take heed that no one deceives you." Verse 5. "For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many." And then now verse 24. I'm going to start at 23 and 24. "Then if anyone says to you, Look, here is a Christ, or there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect." Then I'm going to go on in 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Verse 4. "For if he who comes to you preaches another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if you receive a different spirit which you have not received, or a different gospel which you have not accepted, ye may well put up with it." And then verse 13 through 15. "For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. And no wonder, for Satan himself transformed himself into an angel of light. Therefore it is no great thing if his ministers also transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works." And then now let's go on to 1 John chapter 2. 1 John chapter 2 verse 26 and 27. These things I have written to you concerning those who try to deceive you. But the anointing which you have received from him who abides in you, and you do not need that anyone teach you, but as the same anointing teaches you concerning all things, and is true, and is not a lie, and just as it has taught you, ye will abide in him. And now 1 John chapter 4, verses 1 through 4. Beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. By this you know the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesses that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is of God, and every spirit that does not confess that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is not of God. And this is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard was coming and is already in the world. You are of God, little children, and have overcame them, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. They are of the world, therefore they speak as of the world, and the world hears them. We are of God. He who knows God hears us. He who is not of God does not hear us. By this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. I read on also to 5 and 6. So I encourage you to quit following very popular people. There's nothing wrong with getting edified. There's nothing wrong with, listening to people if they hear from Jesus, if they know Jesus. But I encourage you to get alone with Jesus and stop following these big, legit, organized ministries. Quit exalting everybody else and exalt Jesus. Quit promoting everybody else and their ministry and promoting Jesus, the Spirit of all truth. I encourage you to get along with God and to seek to hear His voice, to be led and guided by Him, and to pay heed to your calling. May the truth of God be with you. God bless.